All right, it looks like we're live. Hope you're having a good Friday. Maybe you got plans for the weekend. I know I'm here at the house and don't really have too many big plans, but this seems to be a hit the past 2 weeks. There's been a lot of good feedback I've been getting from the streams as far as like questions that you guys have. So we're going to continue to keep rolling with it. And, this is something that I enjoy doing, being able to hop on and answer any of the questions that you guys have. And also, it gives me good ideas for like future content and stuff like that, because the questions that you're asking, I just go ahead and assume that there are other people out there that have some of the same questions, and I can address them here on the stream. But for those who don't actually tune in for the live streams, maybe it's just good content ideas to make as well. But today we'll be talking about photo and video tips. Really, they're not really, I'm not going to be I'm the I used to go with like a format to where I would actually just like I would talk and then there'd be a Q&A at the very end of these streams. But I found that there's so much better whenever you guys that are on stream actually ask the question and you kind of steer the conversation in whatever direction that it needs to go. So the way that the stream's going to go is like you guys will ask questions, and then depending on the questions that you guys ask will just kind of dictate the direction that we go within the stream. So if you got questions, and if you're tuning in on the stream, let me know down in the chat. If you're watching on the replay, let me know that you're here down in the comments. I think this is going to be a great stream. Again, we're talking all things photo and video. So feel free to ask any questions that you have, whether you're live or if you're watching on the replay. I'm more than happy to answer any of those questions. But yeah, so this week, actually not this week. It was really, I guess it was technically this week. Last night, I was supposed to get up and I was going to attempt to get a photo of the Milky Way core. This will be like my first time actually doing that. I had everything planned out. I'm using this app called Photo Pills, which kind of tells you when the moon sets and everything like that. It's one of those things I really, it's terrible. I think I learned about the moon whenever I was really learned about the moon when I was in like 8th grade. So I didn't really understand the concept of like, well, the moon has to set. That's why you don't see the moon. Like you'll see it sometimes in the evening, but you don't see it later on in the night. So again, the moon has to set so that there's enough, like the light is absent so that there's enough of the light. You're not getting a bunch of light pollution whenever you're trying to take your shot. So again, I was supposed to do that last night. It was supposed to be a perfect opportunity, but I missed the chance. And so, yeah, we'll see. I'm going to look at photo pills tonight. I think I still have an opportunity tonight. But yeah, that's something that I'm kind of playing around with this year, is experimenting with some astrophotography. And I'm also thinking about getting into some landscape photography as well. And I might make some videos about that as well. But again, this week's video was all about what do we post this week? I'm completely spacing on this. I think it was the video on, it was something video editing related, I think. Gosh, that's terrible of me. Yeah. So yeah, there's just a video I came across. It was a video, and there was an article that I read talking about how the colors in Premiere Pro have kind of been like, whenever you export your video, before Adobe had come out with this gamut compensation LUT that you would apply to the end of to your exported video, and it's supposed to help with the colors. But now you don't really have to do that anymore. Now you can go and actually, so a lot of times whenever I was exporting my videos, I would color grade inside of Premiere and it would look perfect. And then when I export the video, it looked like crap. So I was trying to figure out like, well, what was the reason behind that? So I did some research, found this gamma compensation LUT. It seemed to fix the issue, but then as of a few months, it's like whenever I apply that LUT, it's just like it doesn't look the same at all. So they've since changed it. Now you can go in and adjust a setting. If you want to check out that video, it was just the one that I uploaded earlier this week. So feel free to check out that video. I think it's super helpful because you don't need a LUT or anything like that. You can just change a setting inside of Premiere, and it will, your video should look the way that it did whenever it was inside of Premiere. But that was incredibly helpful for me, just for maintaining, because it just sucks, right? Because you got to do that back and forth, like trying to dial in the colors until it's, got to go in, change the colors, export it, look at it, and then do that process over and over again. It becomes a hassle. So, but yeah, if you're tuning into the stream, let me know down in the chat. Today we're just talking about photo and video related tips. That was a huge one. What I was just talking about there was just colors inside of Premiere Pro or inside of your video editing software. For whatever reason, it's been a struggle for Premiere to, I don't know why it's been that much of an issue, because a lot of these other platforms I don't think really have the issue. Maybe it's I don't know, maybe it's something to do with the software and stuff like that. I don't know like the technical details, but I do know that it has been extremely frustrating. And there's been times where I've contemplated just completely switching to DaVinci for all things color related. But again, now that they have this solution here, I think this will be good. So we'll just have to see what happens. But yeah, let me see what we got going on over here. Yeah, I really am kicking myself for not going out last night and actually getting some shots, because I could have jumped on stream today and we could have edited some of those photos. And it would have been cool. But again, I had some personal things that I had to handle today, so I couldn't justify like setting my alarm, getting up, and if I would have went out and shot, I would have probably been out there for at least 2 hours, probably, and or maybe an hour to 2 hours, just depends. But that would have been just like another hour going to bed late and then getting up in the middle of the night would have just been just not great for me today. One thing that I've noticed or realized, you hear the cliche, like you need to get 8 hours of sleep and you need to eat healthy, you need to drink water and all these things. And the older you get, the more those things are like they show true. Like you you definitely need to do those things, because your body will, if you don't do those things, then your body will respond or it will respond naturally. Let's see. Paul in Focus says, I shoot on FX3, and as a quick shot, I use my iPhone 13 Pro. My question is how to make it look slightly similar to the FX footage. Well, thanks for hopping on the stream, Paul. It's good to see you on today's stream. I know you were hanging out with us last week. So I guess it just depends on what you're shooting in. It's tough with an FX3. Are you shooting in log? I know iPhone the 13 Pro doesn't actually have that capability. With the new iPhones, the 6 or the 15 and the 16s, you have the log capability. So it really just depends on what picture profile you're shooting in. You can download I don't know, see if I still have it on my phone. Filmic Pro is what I used to use. It's a really good app, and you have the ability to shoot in different color profiles and stuff like that. And man, it's been a while since I've shot on. I use it every now and then whenever I'm shooting with my phone, but I've since just been like using the internal stuff that is already on my phone. But there's an app out there called Filmic Pro, and it's spelled Filmic Pro. And inside of there's a lot of pro features, and there's ways you can like change frame rates, you can change picture profiles. I'm pretty sure you can shoot in a flat picture profile there, and so that might be one way, like an area to start. But the tricky part about it is like you're getting around the way that Apple's colors look in the phone versus like the colors from the FX3. So the color science on the two different devices are what the tricky part is. But really, maybe if you shoot in a flat picture profile on both, and then you try to, it's just going to be comparing the two images. That's tough. It's like using it as a B. One thing that I would suggest, what I do is, I mean, I don't know if it's within your budget, but the FX30 is a great B camera option, and it's pretty inexpensive if you're talking about like buying another FX3 or a Sony A7S III. Instead of having to spend the money on those those cameras, you would be much better off getting like an FX30, because the colors it's going to be a lot easier to match up the colors in post. But yeah, that's what I would do. Again, with the iPhone 13, are you using it for B-roll? Are you just like, what are your quick shots? Are you using it for like a B cam whenever it comes to interviews? Let's see. As external app, I use Blackmagic Camera app. Yep, that's another good app as well. I've heard a lot of good things about it, but I don't have that much experience with it myself. But I do know that it is it's been talked highly about. But what are you using your phone for, is like the quick shots and stuff like that? Is that more for like B-roll and stuff? Because again, too, I think it may not matter as much if you're doing for like YouTube videos and stuff like that, but if you're doing for like professional client work and stuff or commercial work, you're definitely going to want to make sure that those colors are a lot similar, because the overall look, it's probably reading into it a little bit too much, but maybe not, is whenever you're shooting with your phone, there is the appearance of the image that the iPhone produces conveys a certain message, rather, or like when compared to like a nice camera or some sort, right? So highly produced communicates very much a different message than like just off the cuff. Like, so it depends on what you're trying to go for with what your messaging is. But in like a YouTube video, I think that's great. It conveys a level of authenticity and stuff like that. So a lot of people will suggest like, hey, whenever you're vlogging and stuff like that, don't worry about using like a really expensive camera. Just use your phone because it, you know, conveys a certain level of authenticity, and that will work in your favor because people are going to want to, feel more connected to you rather than feeling like you have this highly produced thing that looks like a movie rather than something that they can connect to. So I guess it really just depends on what you're using the two for. I'm sure you probably you have a dialed in process on like why you're using the iPhone 13 Pro to do your stuff. But yeah, if you let me know down in the chat, um, and I'd be able to kind of go in a little bit more in depth. Let's see. That's a quick shot. I mean, location I'm visiting and find something happening, which has to be quick to capture. Sorry, bro. No, you're fine. I get what you're saying. So not all the time are you going to have your phone on you, and you know, or I'm sorry, not all the time are you going to have your camera on you, but you will have your phone on you whenever you're going out and you're doing things. So I think that that's great. What are you, you know, if you're again, like I said, if you're just doing this for YouTube content, I think you can get some really good stuff. One of the things that I mean, this is just my opinion. I really got in I really got into the intricacies of like the colors need to be dialed in perfectly and they need to match up perfectly. And it really just depends on who your audience is. Because if your audience because a lot of these things, like I don't think people notice them as much as, especially we, like I'm a bit nerdy when it comes to this stuff, but there's times where I've got to be like, or I try to be like, well, are they really going to notice this type of thing? Are they going to notice the difference? And whenever you're making your content and stuff like that, I think that you can have that highly produced stuff like with one camera, but people, I think they understand like whenever you're going out and especially if you're like traveling or if you're out on a location and you're just needing to get some shots for what you're working on, or just maybe if you're just trying to show up the location that you're at. I think people are more forgiving of that because they know that you're probably not always going to be carrying around your camera. I mean, I know a lot of creators that they just have full vlogs. Like Ryan Trahan is a great example of this. Like if you watch the Ryan Trahan's Penny series, some of it is shot on just a normal camera and a lot of it is shot on his phone. And I know the question was originally, it's like, how do you make them look consistent? I think that you get it as close as you possibly can. And if you're just doing it on YouTube, you get it as close as you possibly can. And then don't stress too much about it because again, when it comes to like if you're doing professional like commercial stuff, I wouldn't necessarily go down the road of shooting with a camera and your phone in combination. I would have more like like two cameras, an A cam and a B cam, both of them being like, so for me, I use a lot of times I'll just use two Sony A7 IVs or I'll use the A7 IV and an FX30. So that's what I would do if I'm doing something professionally, but I wouldn't get too caught up into get too much into the weeds of like, if the colors are perfect, I would just try to get them as close as possible. And I don't think that majority of people are actually going to notice. All right. Thanks for hopping on the stream. Which company field monitor is good? I use, let me see if I can find it real quick. Oh, the one that I use, actually, what I'll do is instead of, so I don't have to look for it, because I'm pretty sure it's either in this bag or it's in another camera bag, is the monitor I use is a pretty inexpensive one. And I really like mine because you can like input LUTs into it and stuff like that. The only problem is the LUTs, from what I've seen, like if you're inputting your LUTs to have them baked into, well, you want to preview the shot with your LUT or like the LUT that you're going to use inside of Premiere. If you can upload that into the monitor, but the colors don't reflect accurately what I see inside of Premiere when I've done my test. But if you don't really use that and you're just looking for a monitor, something that's like a brighter source to be able to see, this is a great option. So let me just look it up real quick on Amazon and check my orders, and I'll tell you. Yeah. So, so Aussie, I'm using the Aussie Lilmon, and I'll drop a link in the chat so you guys can check it out. But the Aussie Lilmon, this one's pretty cheap. Or I say cheap. It's not like a small HD goes for like a 1,000 or whatever, or maybe even more expensive than that. This is like $189, but the battery life is pretty good. I've used like the Field World monitors, and those things die like in like 20-30 minutes. Their battery life on those are awful. Okay, I think this should be the link right here. Dropping this in the chat right now. All right, yeah, if you check that, or you go to that link right there, it'll take you to you guys can check it out. But this is like a 5.5-inch touchscreen DSLR camera field monitor. You can add LUTs into it. You can view it or your image is viewed in 4K. It's bright. The color, like, it just has a lot of customizable features. I use this on only time I really use a monitor whenever I'm out in the field lately has just been in environments where it's like really, really bright and it's hard, like especially outdoor situations. So that's a great monitor that I recommend is the Aussie Lilmon 5. Which company field monitor is good? Lowput or Godox? I'm not sure with either one of those. I didn't know Godox actually made monitors. Let me look that up real quick. I did. Godox is a great brand. Oh yeah, they do, definitely. Okay, so these are a little bit more expensive, and they might even be they might even be better. I would do a comparison between the two. Like you can look up the specs between the two of them, but I actually didn't know that Godox had monitors. And Lilliput, I haven't used them myself either, but it looks like their reviews are pretty good, and they look like fairly reasonably priced. I was just going off of the video that I watched when I was making my decision. I was looking at getting the Atomos Ninja, and somebody recommended like don't spend all the money on the Atomos Ninja, just get the Lilmon 5, and it's a great monitor. It's got great battery life, and yeah, it serves its purpose. So that as far as like the two of those, I don't have an answer for you because I don't have any experience with either one of those, but I do recommend the Lilmon 5. Paul and Focus says, speaking of bags, any budget-friendly camera bag suggestions? The one I have has very little space to carry all my gear. Let me show you which bag I have real quick. This one I've had this one for a long time, like I want to say like 5 years. This is a low pro bag, and so anything low pro is I mean it's just like the brand Low Pro has been around for a long time. It's very high quality. So I like this bag because it has this little strap. Where's it at? That I can use on my suitcase, right? So I can pull up the little lever and use this little strap right here to kind of clip it in, and then it just slides in right there. And then I can roll this on top of my bag whenever I travel. But this one doesn't, I mean, it has a decent amount of space, right? So it has the top up here that I have a lot of junk inside of, like a lot of cables. I got a microphone here. I got hard drives. Other hard drives, lens pin. Also have, like camera straps. The cable management in here is pretty bad, so please don't judge. And then this front portion here, I just put like memory cards and batteries here because this is like my quick, like I grab the stuff that I need on the go. The stuff that goes in the top up here, more things like chargers and hard drives and things that I use for more like post-production stuff. And then the main part of the bag here is, so I keep filters right here in the front. If you can see, let me actually take this off screen so you can see a little bit better. Yeah. All right. So yeah, this portion is where I put my filters. So see the filters I have here. I got the HIDA filter that I have here, and I actually don't remember this brand right here. This is another variable ND filter, which is decent, but I'm not a huge fan of the color cast. It has like a green color cast to it that I'm not a huge fan of. I use this HIDA filter because it's a circular polarizer and an ND filter at the same time. So I keep my filters inside of here. I guess this is like a what's in your camera bag type of thing right now. But, we'll do what we do whenever we're live. And then, so the top portion up here, or I guess we'll call this the main portion that holds all the camera gear and stuff like that. It's kind of like a side loader. So you can set yours up however you want. I have a camera in, and it just kind of sits in here. This is another Sony A7 IV. And then you got a decent amount of space inside of here for stuff. I've got two lenses here. You can put like a third here, and you can redesign this however you want. Usually I'll maybe slide like a microphone in here. But typically what I'll do is I put my camera right here on the side, close it up. And this is a good one. Now, the downside to this lens the one thing that I don't like about this lens is I wish it opened from here. So whenever I go to take my bag off, I have to put it straps down on the ground to be able to access the bag. And the downside of that is like whenever I go to put it back on, these straps are all dirty, and then I'm getting dirt and stuff all over my clothes and stuff, especially if I'm in like a, an environment where it's like all muddy and stuff. The best bags, like the Peter McKinnon bags and stuff like that, or I won't say the best. Like I can't say they're the best because I don't have any experience with them, but the ones that I've seen that are highly rated are the ones that actually they go the back of the bag down and they open up from the strap portion. So they open up from here versus opening up from the back. So that's just one downside of this bag, but this bag is tough. Like I've put a lot of weight in this bag, and it's yeah. It's also got a laptop sleeve over here on the side where you can put stuff inside of there, laptops, and you can actually put an iPad in here too if you have one. So that's what this is the bag I recommend. Just because it's lasted me a long time, and I mean, I've just shot in a lot of situations and a lot of different conditions, and it's still been good. Like I've had a few times where I've gotten my shirt a little bit dirty, but if you're not always shooting in those types of situations, which I'm not, then it's fine. Because a lot of times what I'll do, especially, this is just the type of person I am whenever I'm shooting. For example, when I went out to the Grand Tetons earlier last year, I had my camera bag with me, but I just took my camera with me. Like sometimes I'll take a backpack, depends on where we're going. But if I'm hiking, like I'm bringing the minimum amount of gear necessary to be able to get the things that I need. Because this probably is was it controversial? Maybe it's controversial, but maybe it like contradicts, normal people normally do, videographers and photographers. But I don't like to go out with a bunch of gear whenever I'm going out and doing a hike, because one, I want to be present. I don't want to be thinking about all the different lenses and stuff like that. I've already kind of thought up in my head what I want to get. Granted, it's always nice to have some gear there if you need it. But for me, having a camera bag, I just want something that's going to hold my equipment in there. And a lot of times that camera bag is going to stay either at my hotel or it's going to stay in my vehicle. And I'm just going to take my camera with me. And then I'll have like the pack that I'm going to be taking with me on the hike, or I'll take that with me and I'll just bare bones put the bare minimum amount of things that are in there and put some food and some water and stuff. 'Cause it's got a water bottle pouch on the side. So that's a cool bag. Again, let me know what bags you guys have, or bags that you like, but that's one of the bags that I really like. I really need to check out the Peter McKinnon bag. I just haven't. Let's see what it's going for. Because I've been in the market for getting a new bag, but I just can't. I haven't until like one of those straps tear or something like that. I can't really justify it because camera bags can get expensive, as I'm sure you guys know. I've thought about getting me like just a little like a side loader type of what was the Nomadic one, the little McKinnon camera sling that's like real tiny. And that's whenever I was shooting a lot of weddings, it would be really nice to have because you just have that, and then you can have like 3 lenses there. You have some primes, have a few, or like a zoom or something, and then you would have everything that you need. And like, yeah, like if I show you, let's see if I can do this. Yeah, let me see if I can share my screen real quick. Yeah, the Peter McKinnon bag is a little bit expensive. Let me show you guys what I was what I've been looking at. All right, let me pull it up here on screen. Yeah, so this is the little Peter McKinnon camera sling 8-liter bag. I really like this one. It's just because you got like, look at the tripod on this guy's back. Like it's so minimal. It's just like, yeah. And that's, granted, that is an expensive tripod to have. They're not showing the branding on there, but that's a Peak Design travel tripod. And even though that looks like that's not the carbon fiber one, actually, I don't know. Even if it's not the carbon fiber one, it's still an expensive tripod. So it's nice because it breaks down to that, has that small footprint. But to have that for a wedding would be so great. And just have like some extra, put some chargers in here and have yeah, so you see the breakdown in here. It's pretty good storage. Like you have some chargers, like an SD card case, a few of your batteries, a few cables if you needed it, and that's all you need for a wedding day. Man, that's gonna be like awesome. I'm just thinking, and also like you don't even have to do that for weddings. You could do that for like hikes and stuff too. Granted, a sling like that's not ideal for like hiking and stuff like that, but it's just something that I've been thinking about. Let me see what the Peter McKinnon backpack or camera bag is going for. Yeah, so we're looking like the this one here, I think is the biggest size. I've always been told from people that have the Peter McKinnon bag, all you really need is like the 25-liter bag, unless you have a ton of gear. And if you have a ton of gear, then the other one is like you want to upgrade to the bigger bag. What's the bigger bag? Like a 40-liter or something? Oh, I think that just comes with other things, but yeah, this bag here, I think it's a great bag. You see, like it has the zipper on this is where the straps actually, like the zipper is on the side here. So like you can set the bag down on its back and then open it up, and you don't have to worry about your straps getting all dirty. Yeah, there's so much space inside of this bag. So compared to the low pro bag that I just showed you guys, this has a ton more space. Granted, it is a lot more expensive. Actually, let's see what this low pro camera bag is going for. It might not be that expensive anymore. I don't even know if it was that expensive when I bought it. I think it was only. That's not it. It's probably gonna be so hard to find because there's so many low pro bags. I'm not even gonna send us down that because we'll be probably looking here for a while to find something. But I really like that low pro bag from experience. But the 25 liter bag isn't too bad, and it looks like it's on or the 199 one. Let's just see how much room is inside of it too. 199. It's not going to show us the inside, is it? Yeah, and there's plenty of space in that bag too. Yeah, it doesn't have all the room that the other had, but I think that's a great option. I've been looking at it. I know a lot of people swear by it and say it's a really good bag. Let's see. I had a hard time with Peak Design tripod with vertical filming. Oh, so you have the Peak Design tripod. Yeah. I It looks like it from it doesn't have like a fluid head on it, or if the fluid head is on there, it doesn't look like it goes very far. Like, let me show you. A few streams ago, I showed this tripod. This is my answer to the Peak Design travel tripod. So this right here is a tripod that I picked up in Japan. It's made out of metal, but it has some plastic pieces. And it looks like a cheap, like, I don't know, Walmart tripod, but I got this thing for probably like 27 bucks. But this thing has went with me to like Sweden. Oops, I'm gonna break something here. Yeah, the only thing that it's not the greatest because you got all these little clips. I'm actually looking at getting the new small rig tripod that just kind of goes up all at once. I was looking at the Potato Jet tripod and it was a little bit too expensive for what I was trying to go for. So I'm going to be getting the small rig version. But if you look at this thing is pretty. I just need to adjust this so that you can. Yeah, let's move this over here. And it's pretty small. And this thing is like 30 bucks. And it's solid. Like it's one of those, it goes pretty high. It goes up to like, I don't know, at least 5 foot, like a standard size. I can bring it up to eye level whenever I'm filming with it. And let me show you, it fits right into the side of my back. So when I went to Stockholm a few years ago in Sweden, Epidemic Sound flew me out and a few other creators. And me and my buddy Pascal actually that threw this in my bag and we went and got a shot from a viewpoint in the morning. Yeah, so I just stuck this in like this, and You'll be able to see it better here in just a second because I'll actually pick it up. I'll take I'm just sticking it in the side of the water bottle pouch. Put that in. We'll tighten it down so it doesn't move around. And that's how it goes. It just sits right in there. Like it's kind of big, don't get me wrong, but it's not very heavy. That's the biggest thing. Is it's like a little bit big, but it is so light. And if you're traveling and stuff like that, and you want to put that in a suitcase, and you don't want it to be super heavy and have a bunch of weight, that's a cool option for as far as tripods. But yeah, the Peak Design tripod, I love that it has such a small footprint, and it still makes it appealing to me. I still want to get it. Let's see what the Peak Design travel tripod is going for now. And these are, best to buy around the holiday season. Oh, it looks like Neewer has come out with like a carbon fiber travel option. Let me show that on screen real quick. So here we go. Yeah, so it looks like Neewer. It's got like a $200 one. I'm not sure about this one. It doesn't look bad though. It's very similar like to yeah, so you can see it does have a little bit of a fluid head. Right. So I'm assuming that the Peak Design one that you had, it was a similar type of thing. Yeah. So the way it rotates, it won't shoot like straight up. It only can like rotate to the sides and stuff like that, which is unfortunate. But it is really customizable. I really like how it is. Again, I don't think I need the carbon fiber one. It's supposed to be lighter and stuff like that, but I would be perfectly fine with this. Isn't too bad. $399.95, $400 for a tripod that's this small, though, is still kind of expensive. But yeah, I don't know. I'll be looking out for some reviews on this Neewer option here because it looks like it's got pretty good reviews, and it's $200 cheaper. So I don't know. We'll just have to look into that and see what we got. All right, guys. Well, let me know if you have other questions. Feel free to drop your questions down in the chat. If you're watching on the replay, we're just kind of talking photo and video. You guys have asked some really good questions talking about, things with, with iPhone versus shooting with your actual camera. And we talked about earlier, we're talking about just like equipment and I actually took you through my, the camera bag and stuff like that. So I enjoy these things. You guys keep me on my toes as far as like what's going to happen in these streams, but that's what makes these so fun because, again, you guys are a part of the content, not just me having to sit up here and just run my mouth the entire time, because I don't think that's as enjoyable for you guys either. So I think I'm going to try to go out tonight and get a shot. I would imagine that because it's like the easiest opportunity to get a shot of the Milky Way is like right after the new moon. And the new moon was like the last night or the night before. I have to look at photo pills again. But yeah, I think that's what I'll end up doing is try to go out tonight and see if I can get a shot. And we're just going to have to see, because the cool thing about photo pills is I can actually go into the app. And again, the app is kind of expensive, but I think it's really good for planning and stuff like that. It's a little bit expensive, but it's totally worth it because I use this for all my planning and stuff like that. So I'm going to go into the planner. Actually, not the planner. Let's go into the moon. Yeah, so tonight, moon set is at 2:23 a.m. And then the galactic center visibility is going to end at 5:55 a.m. So what that means is like the Milky Way core, you won't be able to see it above the horizon after 5:55 a.m. So as long as the moon sets before that visibility ends, then there's a window of opportunity there for you to be able to capture a shot with the Milky Way being in the sky. So I think that's pretty cool, and that means there's still an opportunity there. So that's what I'll do to this evening. So where I'm going to be at this evening around, let's say like 3 a.m. is going to be probably outside in my backyard with my camera pointed straight up to the sky, trying to get a shot of the Milky Way. And then maybe this coming up week stream, we can do a stream where we actually look at those photos and you guys can roast and let me know how bad they are. What's your take on actual film camera for recording video? I So you're talking about like Fujifilm cameras for recording, or are you talking about like actual like recording on film from the film production days? Um, Let me know down in the chat. But if you're talking about like just like film, I'm a huge fan of the film look, like the halation and the like the bloom and the like the way the highlights are. And yeah, I'm honestly, I like film grain too, but I'm not like the biggest fan of film grain, especially whenever I see it on content these days, because it's like it's a stylistic choice, like it's or an artistic choice, really. Because most people, there's not actual film grain, because a lot of things that are made nowadays are not shot on film. So when you see film grain on like a YouTube video, it very much feels artificial. Whereas whenever you see like halation or like bloom and the highlights and stuff like that, that is more realistic to like me. And I'm like, it doesn't look, I don't know, it doesn't look artificial, right? So halation is just kind of like, if you're not familiar, halation is just like, so you see this light here, it has like this outer kind of ring around it, not like the light itself, but like the redness around this. Um, so in like traditional film, it'll have like a red beam around it, and that's just like a stylistic thing. Like you don't even really notice it, but if you watch movies, like go watch Top Gun from back in the day, or go watch not the new Top Gun, but watch the older Top Gun, or go watch. Trying to think of some other movies off the top of my head that were big popular. Like I think some of my favorite ones that were shot on film. Man, there's so many, but I'm just like drawing a blank. Um, like Lord of the Rings, or look for those areas where those light sources are and stuff like that, or some of the old Batman movies. Like you'll see that there is halation around, and then in the highlights you have the like the this bloom that comes off of the highlights, which is essentially like one of these Pro Mist filters right here is what people use these days to recreate this effect. And that's where the highlights just bloom. So I can probably just do it here on stream, so you can see. This Pro Mist filter I can attach to the front of the lens right here. And I won't actually attach it, but I'm just going to kind of bring it up to the lens so you guys can see what it does to what you're just look at what it does to the actual lights here in the scene whenever I put it on. It's gonna be hard to focus, so I might not be able to do it. Let me see. This is the thing that we do whenever we're doing it live. All right, there we go. I won't screw it all the way on. But now you can kind of see it has that Pro Mist look, or that the bloom and the highlights. It makes the skin look a little bit softer. So as far as like what my thoughts are on actual film, I love like the look of like film, especially shot on like an anamorphic lens. That's like, I mean, that's a beautiful looking image to me. I feel like it's over the top for YouTube videos sometimes, just like shooting. I mean, you can do whatever you want. Shooting with an anamorphic lens, like especially a lot of creators in this space, I've seen them put a cinema lens on their camera. They're shooting on like a big nice cinema camera, or red, or maybe they're shooting on an Arri Alexa or something like that. So as far as like shooting on film cameras, yeah, I think they're great. They're expensive though. So let me take this Pro Mist filter off, because this is kind of not the best look right now. And the reason why I say it's not the best look is because this is just a little bit too over the top. That's why I don't use this filter all the time. They have a lot of film emulation plugins now. One that I use that I really enjoy is Dehancer, not sponsored. But this is I've worked with them in the past. They have, Dehancer is a great film emulation software that works with Premiere, DaVinci Resolve. It's a little bit, it can be a little bit expensive depending on what your budget is. But if you're doing this professionally, it's something that you can really elevate your videos. And I don't think I have a link. I could drop it here. Let me see. I can pull it up real quick and I'll let you guys see. Yeah. So I'm dropping in the chat right now. The Enhancer's website, but yeah, it's a really cool film emulation plugin. Film Convert is another good option. Again, not sponsored. I've chatted with those guys before. They have this like film match feature that's really good for like being able to color match. So if you're like, let's say Paul and Focus, you had your question earlier about your iPhone footage. They have like a feature to where they can match up the colors automatically. It's a lot better than the one that's inside of Premiere, where they can match all the colors to one specific camera. So if you select like your FX3 is the main camera and you want to match the colors of that to all the other clips on your timeline, if they're shot with different cameras or, whether it's a phone or something else, then I think that's a great way of being able to sync them all up. So it might be something worth checking out. I'm not sure what Film Convert's going for these days, because the film match, I think, is like something that you can buy. You can buy the Film Convert to where it's like a film emulation software, or you can buy Cinematch. It's not Film Match, it's Cinematch is what it's called. You can buy that as well, or you can buy it separately. So that might be something worth checking out. But yeah, I really like just like the look of the 35 millimeter film. It's awesome. And I don't really have that much experience shooting on an actual film, or I don't have any experience shooting on an actual film camera, but it would be cool to get that experience one day. But good question. All right. Well, if you guys don't have any questions, I don't want to take up too much more of your time. If you do, go ahead, drop them down in the chat. We'll hang out for a few more minutes, and then I'll let you guys get to your weekend. Let me know if you got cool weekend plans down in the chat. I'm just going to be hanging out probably here at the house. Who's doing yard work this weekend, or who's got stuff that is chores that they need to do. Most of my weeks go like hustle and bustle Monday through Friday, and then Saturday and Sunday are usually catch up for the week, and then right back at it on Monday. So you get caught up by Sunday, and then it's off to the races on Monday. And at least that's what it feels like. There's some weekends where I'm pretty caught up and stuff like that, but then there's some that are just like, man, it's like a Groundhog Day on Monday. Here I am drinking my water, trying to stay hydrated. And then trying to sleep. Like, man, I tell you what, you guys let me know. Is it a struggle sometimes to get to bed at a certain time, like to be disciplined to like go to bed at a certain time? Because for me, it's like I shoot to try to be in bed by 10:30 or try to be asleep by 10:30, but I have to force myself to get in bed by like 9:30, give myself an hour of wind down time in bed, whether it's like short form content or if I'm reading a book or something. It's like before I know it, an hours went by, and now it's like 11 o'clock, 11:15. I'm like, I'm not even going to get 8 hours of sleep, because I'm going to get up. I usually get up at like 6 in the morning or something like that. Depends, 5 or 6, depending on what's going on. And I'll get up in the morning and work out. But man, I tell you what, when you don't get your sleep, it's like, it just sets the tone for the next day, and it just sets you're in a deficit. You're going to be cranky and stuff like that. Paul and Focus says, I have to mow my lawn. I need to mow my lawn too, honestly. I just mowed last weekend, and now that spring's here, the grass is growing like so quickly, because it's where I'm at. It's like hot and it's sunny, and we got a little bit of rain this week. So it's a perfect recipe for the grass to start growing, which I'm not upset about. But yeah, it's just, one more thing that it's nice in the wintertime, because it's like you have some extra time, because you're not having to commit to, mowing the lawn for an hour to 2 hours, depending on how big your yard is or how much yard work you need to do. But yeah, last weekend I had to mow my lawn. I had some hedges in my front yard and backyard that I needed to cut back, and I need to put some pine straw in like my flower beds and stuff, just to make sure that everything looks cleaned up and neat. But yeah, I'm trying to get everything ready for spring. But yeah, if you guys don't have any other questions, it was great chatting with you guys. Thank you so much for all of your questions. Let's see. White Dog Outdoors says, wish I saw you were streaming sooner, but I'll watch it back later. Well, if you got questions, let me know. I'll hang out here for, I've only been rolling for about 45 minutes. I usually go for like an hour, but I don't want to hold you guys up. So if you got questions, let me know down in the chat. One of those things, again, like all I'm doing this weekend is just it's going to be chores. I'll be spending time with my family and stuff, but just doing chores around the house. So mowing the lawn is one of them. One kind of hack that's kind of helped me out for the weeks though is trying to, doing meal prep and stuff is extremely important. I've always done meal prep. The like batch cooking everything, just the way that I batch, same way with batching YouTube videos. So for me, I don't get too I'm not too picky when it comes to food and stuff like that. I usually eat when I'm hungry. So I usually eat every 4 hours. And what I'll do is I'll just pre-cook. I'll buy like a family pack of chicken breasts, and then I will put all that, like, it's not the most ideal thing, but right now it's been working for me. It's like I'll cut all those chicken breasts in half so that they cook a little bit faster. I'll put them on like a cooking sheet, and I'll put like some seasoning over top of them. Maybe it's seasoned salt, maybe it's something else like some Creole seasoning. Just depends on what, that's the way that I change it up type of thing, is just like to change up the seasoning. And then from there, I will just put it in the oven for 30 minutes. And then I have a week's worth of chicken breasts like done in 30 minutes. And then I just throw it in Tupperware and just put it inside of my fridge. And then one, that saves me money during the week. That's two, I'm eating more healthy because I'm not eating fast food and convenient food. And then three, it's like just, you feel better whenever you're eating good food versus just eating, fast food and junk food all the time. Paul Bugger says, which mic arm are you using? This is an Elgato mic arm. This one I was torn between I almost went with the Rode one, but I like this one because you can take this little thing off and you can put the cord underneath there. So this is made by Elgato. The only thing I'm not a huge fan of is like the cable management down here. So at some point I need to figure this out. I'm using the Shure, what is it? The Shure MV7. And it's nice because for this microphone, you can just connect it via USB-C. So it runs from here, goes up the arm, goes down, and then it connects right here into my laptop. And it works. It's really convenient for these streams. And the pop filter that's on here is actually a pop filter that I replaced. So originally it comes, I don't have the box in here with me, but it comes with a shorter pop filter. But the problem with that pop filter is that the plosive, so when you like use words like P, like so plosive, pop, that P sound, there's not enough distance between the pop filter, or we'll call this the mic cover pop filter, whatever you want to call it. It's like half the size of this. So the plosives are a lot more harsh, but this is the Shure SM7B pop filter that fits on here. So you just got to take it off. You can take it off like this. You can see where the microphone is there. You put this on. I'm sorry. Hopefully the audio doesn't sound bad as I'm pulling this off. Hopefully that just didn't bust your eardrums. But yeah, so it's a little bit longer, and it sounds so much better that any words that I say that like are harsh, like going into the mic, it diffuses them whenever it goes in. So yeah, love this microphone too. There's all these things that I could talk about here. I have it in a locked mode because I have a buddy that's used this that, I've just seen people on stream sometimes, they'll accidentally bump it and then they'll mute the mic, and then everybody in the chat's like yelling at them. They're like, yeah, you can't hear you. I don't know why you're still talking, but I can't hear you. But yeah, this is the Elgato mic arm. And yeah, it's just attached to just the microphone here. It's a pretty simple setup. It has like a little ball head thing here that you can adjust. I have mine just kind of in a fixed position because what I'll do is when I'm filming here or when I'm not filming here, I just move the mic out of the way. And then I can just kind of work here at my desk. So it kind of sits here. I can push it off to the side, which I'm sure if you've seen some of my videos, you'll see like, because I'll usually also shoot from this angle over here. So was this camera left? I guess on this side. So it's my right over here on this side. And the camera will be pointing back this way. And then my backdrop is just kind of my desk here, this bookshelf behind me, and then the print that I have on the wall over here, which I need to get some more prints. We need to do some traveling. Let me know down in the chat. What's I'm going to probably do someplace here in the United States for now. But where do you guys think is the next best spot that to travel? Or some of your favorite spots? I'm trying to get some ideas. I was thinking about going back out to like Salt Lake City, Utah. I've been thinking about going back out to Wyoming because I want to get a shot of the Grand Tetons in the summertime versus getting a shot of them in the wintertime, because I can't really show you right now, but the mountains are all covered in snow in this photo over here, and there's a lot of fog on top of the caps of the mountains, and you can't really see like the actual mountains themselves. But in the summertime, everything's clear, the skies are clear. In the springtime, it's really nice too, because you got all the clouds, which make the sky look a lot more unique. So just trying to get some ideas. There's Colorado's another option. There's a lot of places that I've been thinking about. I'm planning to get a 5-line low profile mic arm. Let me check that out, because I'm not sure if I have E or okay, FIFINE. Okay. Low profile. Yeah, I've seen the low profile ones. Okay. Yep. Seen these. I think Elgato, does Elgato make these as well? I think Elgato makes this version. Well, makes this same model, but the low profile version. Yeah. So Elgato. I thought about doing the Elgato. Yeah, yeah, they do make the low profile version. And I've seen a lot of people, a lot of podcasts use them. But I just was worried about the low profile. If I ever had something sitting down on my desk, or I got this one too, because like if I'm doing a top down shot and I'm talking to the microphone here or something, I don't want the low profile to be like in the way to where I can't like move my hands around, because I've seen it. Like I think Colin and Samir, they have on their podcast, they have those low profile ones. I'm just like wondering, where do I put my arms down on the desk if I ever want to rest my arms? So that's the only reason I didn't go with the low profile. I'm curious as to why you will prefer the low profile over just the standard, I guess we can call this standard, over the top mic arm. I would imagine, I think too, for me, reasons why I thought about getting the low profile over this one, it's just aesthetically, right? You don't have this big arm that's in your shot, because this is in the shot, I have to balance it with something else. I try to. So sometimes I'll try to have like something else over here on this side of the frame in the foreground as well, or maybe in the background, to kind of balance out this. Essentially what you want to do is have something like a diagonal line from this corner of the frame to this side of the frame over here, to make sure that your image is balanced out. That's just like a composition thing when it comes to video and stuff. So sometimes I'll have like one thing that I could do, instead of having this plant over on this side over here, I could put the plant kind of over on this side right here. And that gives me a little bit more of a balanced image. But the problem is with the plant being right there, I got the mouse and it's kind of hard for me to be able to move the mouse around. But yeah, guys, don't want to take up too much more of your time. If you don't have any more questions, you guys have a great weekend. We'll be coming back with another stream next week. If you got ideas, so you guys shared some really good ideas last week about possibly doing some video reviews. So I think I think that's something that we will end up doing. But if you have more ideas for the stream, because I'm just got to figure out what that process is going to look like. I think I'm going to probably have to, I'll probably post something on the community tab on YouTube. And then there'll be a link to a form that you guys can fill out that drops a link to the video that you want me to review. And then I can just give you feedback that way. And there's other things that we can do too. Like I could even pull you on stream if we, I'm just really, I'd be interested to hear how you guys would like to see that done. What would be most beneficial? And also, the thing is too, is like, we're going to have people on stream. I want to be respectful of people's time, because if we only have like an hour to do the stream, I want to be able to get to as many videos as possible. And if we bring people on the stream, it might take a lot longer for people to be able to, to talk back and forth with me and stuff like that. So just let me know what ideas that you have as far as like streaming ideas or just content in general. Let me know down in the comments below, especially if you're watching on the replay, or if you're watching now in the chat, you can drop those now. Because those are the things I'm gonna be looking at. That's the feedback that I need to figure out what's the best, like how to actually, what you guys actually need help with. Because I want to just be making content that, Tyler, I already knew how to do that. Like, I don't know why you're telling me this thing. It's like, I want to make sure stuff that are actually going to help you guys. So again, enjoy your weekend, guys. Thanks for hopping on the stream, and I'll see you in the next video.